viewers and listeners, it is always a pleasure interacting with you. I hope that you have enjoyed the videos that we have posted before, and even more that you enjoy the topic that we have at hand. I'm Dr. Duncan Elliott Tembo, and I'll be talking to you on a subject that is titled, Do Not Let the Circumstances Define You. Do not let the circumstances define you. You see, I would like to start off with this very interesting story, that I heard. There was a certain father who had 3 children, and he wanted to buy a certain piece of land. He decided that it would be a good idea for the 3 children to just have a look at that piece of land and have their comments as well. He sent these children to go and check out that piece of land, but obviously he sent them at different times. The first one went at the time when it was dry. The leaves had the trees had lost their leaves. The grass was dry. There were no fruits around. And that's the time when he went there. He viewed the piece of land and came back to the father and said, "Yes, Dad, I've seen that piece of land. Yeah, it looks dry. There's not so much promise." Yeah. Later, the father sent the other son to go and have a look at that piece of land. He also viewed it, but the time that he went there, it was the time when the rains were just starting. The trees, the green leaves had developed on the trees, and they were beginning to bud. Green grass was also beginning to grow. Though not so much water, but at least there was some water. So he came back and, just told the father what he had seen. After that, the father sent the other son. The time that the third son was going, it was deep in the rain season. It was all green. They were fruits. He tasted them and he was very excited. There was water everywhere. And he came back and gave, a report of what he had seen. But you see, an argument erupted between the children. The first one was very convinced that the other 2 did not go to the same place. The second one also felt that the first one did not go to the place where he went. While he agrees that, there was some promise, there was the trees were budding, but he didn't agree with the report that it was all green, there was water everywhere, and there were fruits. And in settling that argument, the father called them and said, my children, sit here. I know that you have disagreed, but I want to let you know that you all went to the same place. And that each one of you, the report that you have given is correct. It is just that you went at different times. You went to visit that piece of land at different seasons. Yeah, I found that very interesting, and I felt I could start with that. So you see, when we say don't let the circumstances define you, for me, it's a very important topic. There are many times when circumstances have dictated, how people should look at us. Circumstances have dictated where we should end up. And unfortunately, even we ourselves have accepted to remain in that state. But I come to you, on this very important topic to say that don't be defined by your circumstances. You see, you may be in a situation where you don't have money, and perhaps there are certain things that you have failed to do because you don't have money. Maybe because you did not, grow up in a very well-to-do family. And that in itself has limited you, has limited what you can do, has limited what you can become. But anyway, that is just circumstances. I was wondering, whether you will lose to have the potential that was placed in you, because of the circumstances. No, you will not. There is a nice story that is told about the eagle. To say at one time somebody got the eggs for the eagle and put it among chicken, together with the eggs for the chicken. They hatched, and this mother chicken had both eaglets and the chicks, and they started growing up together. They were eating the same food, playing together, and for as long as those eaglets were among the chickens, they thought that they were chicken as well. But the fact that they were among chicken, growing up among chicken, does not in any way change the fact that they are eagles. If you look at their DNA, they are eagles. They were eagles, true eagles. And unfortunately, the environment in which they were made them believe what they were not, and continued living by that standard. And one day, They saw the eagle flying up in the air. And when they looked at it, they started to relate. And that changed them. Despite the fact that they had lived among chicken, when they saw that, they started to relate. They started to realize their true identity. And they flew out of that setup. And from that point on, they were flying. And that's exactly the way it is with each one of us. We have got a unique identity. Obviously, the economy may drag us to the left and to the right. Other circumstances may also drag us to the left and to the right. But we do not lose our identity because of the circumstances in which we are. We are destined for greatness. And you see, the sooner we realize that we are not living up to the potentials that we carry, and the sooner we make a decision to start pursuing that purpose, the better for us. Don't be defined by your circumstances. You carry so much greatness in yourself. And you see, whatever was put in you, whatever has been put in me, it is meant to benefit me, but even more, it is meant to benefit those around you. I mean, you may be like that piece of land. You may be in a season where it's dryness. But you see, even all those seasons are very temporal. Before long, they change. In fact, they say that, one of the few things that are permanent is change, because it will keep coming. So you can see that the dry season does not last long. So in the same way, do not let the situation define you. Obviously, the question may be, how do I step out of this? Where there is will, there is way. There are many people who have started even at the time when they felt, look, it was a bit too late, but they had to start and they were still successful. But I think the position of the mind, the mindset itself, is very key. If you are convinced that there is nothing that can come out of you, if you are convinced that you don't have what it takes, even when there is an open door, promise you will not see it. Even when opportunities come, you will feel that those opportunities are meant for certain people and not yourself. Why? Because you have already accepted a certain status. Why? Because the position of the mind has accepted that you be defined by the circumstances in which you are. And you see, when we say circumstances, they could come in any form. You have not finished school. You have lost your job. No one in the family has gotten far. And many more. But whether you experience that, that does not change your DNA. Even when the lion grows among the puppies, it does not become a dog because it is growing up among dogs. The DNA still shows that that is a lion. And when you look at the lion, it carries greater abilities inside it. Whether it realizes or not, that does not change anything about it. I am hoping that we will all take time to, just reflect on this message, to think about ourselves critically, and think about, those things that have become a limiting factor, that have made us, fail to live up to our full potential. I mean, it's not always bad things that would limit us. Even things that looks fairly good. Even a job may be limiting. You may have a job that just gives you a salary. You can buy food out of it. And you'd think that, this is the best. But inside you, you carry so much greatness. And that comfort, that comfortable space becomes a limiting factor. It defines what you should be. I want you to critically think about yourself. I want you to, break out of this cage. Be your best according to what you carry inside you. I also learned, of this exciting story, of a situation where you have a fence around your house. A fence is very good. It gives you security. But you see, beyond giving you security, it obviously limits you. Think about a bird that is caged. Yes, it will be secure from attack. But beyond just giving that, it limits the bird because the bird is meant to fly. So don't end up in a cage that gives you security, but ends up limiting you from flying higher than you should. Don't be defined by your circumstances. Don't let circumstances define you. Let circumstances come as a season and be ready to move to the next season. Even when it looks like you're at the bottom, please work hard and know that there is also time to get on top. Do not let your circumstances define you. I am hoping that you have picked out something out of this presentation, and I hope that it will help you as you continue on this path of greatness. And please feel free to share this message with others. You never know who it may help. Also, take time to view the other videos that we have done. Like if you can, and subscribe if you can. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.